So, my name is PJ Ferguson. I am a happiness coach and author of The Shortcut to Happiness. I am an international speaker on happiness and just an all around general happiness advocate. And the reason that I started coaching was just because I seemed to have a knack for it. My friends would always come to me for advice and looking for maybe some different perspectives or answers to problems they were facing in their lives. And I seemed to be pretty good at it. And when I had those conversations with them, we always had a really great time and, really great energy. And I wanted to be able to share that with more people. So I've just been in my life trying to find more and better ways to reach more people and spread this message of happiness, help others like yourself who might have questions about how can you be happier, because happiness is one of those things that pretty much everybody wants more of, but we don't go to happiness school. There's no classes at school or in college. A lot of times our parents don't even know what happiness is or how to do it, so they don't teach us. Church oftentimes doesn't teach us right. It's hard to know what to do. So let's talk about happiness. Let's talk about unhappiness. And we've already got some good questions and comments going in here to talk about it. So today I wanted to focus on starting your day right, because that's a huge way for making sure that you can have a good day and experience happiness each day. Because if you start the day right, that's going to carry on throughout the day. A lot of times, at least in my life, and I know from a lot of people I've talked to, we tend to wake up and just dive into our day. We just start doing the stuff that we're supposed to be doing or that we think we're supposed to be doing. And all of a sudden we're not happy. We're wrapped up in drama. We get to the end of the day and we're wondering, like, what the hell just happened? Like, nothing that I wanted to happen really happened. I just did what I was supposed to do. and so start of the day right is an important way for making sure that you have a good day, that you experience happiness that day. So the first question that I had, and David has joined us and asked some good questions, making some good comments currently. And I apologize, I'm not a really good multitasker, so I'm going to do my very best to read questions and comments and respond. So by the way, for every happy hour, every Thursday as we do these, I'm going to give away a free copy of The Shortcut to Happiness in any format that you like, whether it's an ebook, Kindle, whatever, or an actual physical book. And the way to enter to win a free copy is to ask a question. So David, you've been entered. You've already asked a question. So awesome. If you want a copy, you're on your way to getting one. So the first question to really consider is, well, how do you start, or when do you start your day? And David, you asked, what does it mean to start a day? So traditionally speaking, you start your day, people think they start their day when they get out of bed. For me, I think it's as soon as you wake up and before you even open your eyes, that's when your day really starts. And it's that first moment of consciousness that you really want to be there, be present. Because a lot of times what happens is, as soon as you're awake, all those thoughts of, oh, I need to do this and I need to do that. And no, I forgot to do this. And oh my God, I've been putting this off. I don't want to do it today. It's all those thoughts and worries and concerns and whatever's start flooding our mind. So as soon as you wake up or gain consciousness is really when you should start your day and start doing it the right way. So that's the perfect opportunity to stop that monkey mind. Don't let it start telling you what's all your problems and your worries that you should be focusing on, and create this space. That's really the first thing that you should do. Is, so as soon as you're conscious and before you really start some kind of a routine or whatever you normally do, that's when you start your day. So David, if that doesn't answer your question, please let me know and I'll get more specific according to your question. But that was my thought on when does the day start. It's before you even open your eyes. You want to create that space where you can start filling it with happiness rather than worries or expectations of what's going to happen. So maybe the automatic response to that is, hey, I can't predict the future. I don't know what's going to happen. Sorry, my computer's overheating, so I'm just going to give it some room. So it's like, I can't tell the future. I don't know what day I'm going to have because I don't know what's going to happen. Right? So the first response to that is, well, happiness, real tried and true, real happiness is not going to be determined by your circumstances. Okay. So if you think that happiness depends on what happens in your day, you're already in trouble. So what you got to keep in mind is that, okay, happiness is what I make of it. It's not what happens to me. So, it comes down to attitude is the most important thing for having a good day. To start your day on the right foot is to set your attitude. Because 99.9, maybe 100% of happiness is dependent on your attitude. And your attitude is your choice. That's totally up to you. How you're going to view things, how you're going to respond to things, what kind of outcome you want to get from things. Because you can choose to get drawn into all the drama of your life or the drama of the world, or even the drama that your own brain tries to drum up. But if you choose to have a positive attitude, a positive outlook, and to make the very best of every single situation, no matter what, you're going to have a way better experience of life. And that's what happiness really is the experience that you create from whatever happens in your life. Okay, so start your morning by setting that attitude to be like, you know what, no matter what happens, I'm going to deal with it. And I'm going to seek the very best possible outcome. And I'm just going to embrace life to the fullest. Life's an adventure, so get it. Okay. So the reality is everybody is different. Everybody engages the day in a different way. Some people like to get up and be active. You've got those morning people where they wake up at 5:30 and they are just gone. They get more done in the first 4 hours of the day than a lot of us do in the entire day. And if that's not you, other people are a little bit more like me. I'm kind of sluggish in the morning. I like to wake up a little bit, just check in with what's going on mentally, emotionally, physically. I like to spend a little bit of time meditating and stretching. And even though I wake up at about 5:30 or 6, I spend a lot of that time filling my own cup. And we'll talk about that kind of approach in a little bit. But you really, need to just be aware of what's your method of engaging the day and what works best for you. You know best. Okay, you're the authority on your life, not what other people tell you, not what the experts say. It's you, what resonates with you and what works for you. Okay, so slow on that and be okay with that, but also be willing to try new things. Maybe there's something that's good for you that you haven't encountered yet, because life is always full of new stuff. Okay, so let's get to the what can we do. Actually, David, I want to address a couple of your comments because I really love all the thoughts that you have going on. So sleep is important to maintain optimal health. Yeah, so maybe with that thought, maybe the best way to have a good day is to start it the night before by going to bed early enough and getting a good night's rest. Okay, I know that when I get a good night's rest, it changes my entire day. My mood is better. I have more energy. I can focus and be more productive. Completely different experience. Okay, so that's a good thought. Happiness and sadness are two sides of the same coin. Absolutely. There's all sorts of emotions that go into happiness or unhappiness. We might have anger or rage. We might have resentment or anxiety or fear, sadness or depression. There's all sorts of different emotions. And the thing about emotions, even the ones that we don't like, are part of a happy life. It's what you do with those difficult or uncomfortable emotions that determines whether you're having a good or happy life or not. So if you're trying to bury or avoid or deny some of those feelings that you don't like, or maybe experiences that you've had that you want to just not face, that's going to make for a worse experience of life. But if you take the courage and the initiative and take steps to face those things work through the difficult emotions, let them pass through you so that you feel them and aware of them, but then they will go their merry way. Then you return to your natural state, which is inner peace and harmony, or happiness, life satisfaction. So I think all of the emotions are part of happiness, all of them, even the ones we hate or are afraid of. And how we deal with them is determines our life. Yeah, I think happiness is so David, you're saying, for those who can't see the chat, happiness is a mind-made state. I agree that happiness is a word that we give a certain, it's difficult to define happiness. And I talk about this all the time, is everybody has to define happiness for themselves, right? So what is happiness? Is it just an emotion? For some people, it will be just a feeling. For others, it will be, life circumstances, and the consequences of your definition of happiness really determine whether you have a good life or not. So we call it happiness. Some people call it joy. And, other people call it singing or art or dance. Because like you think of a child, children are happy because they're just in their natural state. They'll dress in whatever clothes they want. They'll make up puppet shows that have no storyline or plot line. They'll sing a song that doesn't make any sense because they're just doing it for the sheer joy of it, right? Just being. So there's lots of different ways to define happiness. And to me, I think happiness is beingness and being free. So that's always something to keep in mind. David, you made another really good comment. This is not in my notes, and I want to address it now, but you say fuel is essential to start the body. It's also essential to start the mind. For instance, I'm a coffee person. Right now I'm drinking Jamaica tea, but they've done some studies that people who drink coffee are generally in a better mood. And that's a physical thing that also, because when you're drinking coffee, it kind of creates this process in the body that gives the mind the kind of fuel that it needs. So if you give your body and your mind the healthy fuels, that is definitely going to affect your day. So having a good breakfast, and again, different people, different bodies, different reactions, figure out what works best for you and what energizes you, what sustains you. And if you start the day out hangry, it's going to be a sucky day. So yeah, get your body and your mind the fuel that they need. So what can you do to start the day out right? I just put together some ideas. The first one is to make up your mind. A lot of times people love the idea of happiness. Actually, I find this one a lot. People love the idea of happiness. Oh, I want to be more happy. I want to have a better life. I want to have a better mood. But then as soon as it's time to face what it takes to be happy, people are like, I don't know if I can do that. And, there's this instant resistance. And so it's like, hey, it might sound like a good thing to start the day, but it's not going to happen until you make up your mind that that's what you're going to do. And you have to follow it up. Okay. That takes some effort. It takes some planning. What you can do is set a goal that you feel like you can accomplish. A lot of people, I work with a lot of people who they say they want to start the day in a certain way. There's these things that they want to do in the morning or accomplish, and they either do it or they don't, and that's what it comes down to. So make up your mind, set a goal. Are you going to get up for the next 5 days and start your day right for the next 5 days? For me, I like to do Monday through Friday, starting my day with a really good routine. Saturday and Sunday, I just kind of take those off. I just rest and relax, because then when I get back to Monday through Friday, I'm ready to focus again and, be more proactive. So set your goal. Do you want to get up every morning for a month and do your new, start the day right? Great. Set the goal for a month and then follow through, and then set the goal for the next month and the next month. Okay. So make up your mind and set a goal. Then the next thing is to carve out some time. It really won't happen unless you create some space for your morning to have some kind of a routine or a ritual. It doesn't matter if it's a 5-minute routine or ritual or a 3-hour one. And I talk and work with people who have all different, I know one person who starts his day with 5 minutes, and I have another person that I work with who takes about 2 or 3 hours in the morning in order to set their day right. Okay, so just create some space for just you to remind yourself that you're a human being, not what the world expects you to be. Just be in tune with yourself for a bit in the morning. Okay, so then a really good thing, once you've made up your mind and you've created some space, the next thing is to start with a positive message. And you can do that by having maybe a wake up like a alarm that has text on it with a positive message on it. Or you could have a book or a book of quotes, or maybe even those 365-day calendars. You've got the little stack of one for each day, and you can tear it off and stuff. New thought each day. Start with a positive message. Make that the first thing that you do. And again, I said, as soon as you become conscious, that's when your day starts, right? Well, maybe you have a mantra or a single thought that really perks you up and makes you feel right. So say that. Make that be the first thing that you think. I used to have like this little prayer that I would say that kind of helped me feel connected to myself and to other people, to nature, and then that really set me on the right path for the day. So start with a positive message and create a system out of it. Make it so you don't have to even think about it. It's just right there. Okay. So think of a way that works for you. And then the next thing is to set your intention. So now you've got a positive thought going. Now set an intention, like an actual intent for the day, how it's going to go, or how you're going to be in it. Like no matter what happens, how are you going to be? So the most powerful words that you can use for this is to say, I will. I will be a nicer person. I will be more patient. I will smile more. I will stand up for myself. I will give 3 compliments to people, or compliments to 3 people. I will do something nice for someone. Use the words I will and set that intention for what you're going to do throughout that day. And usually the inspiration for that is going to come from what's happened, previously in your life. Like, what's a big deal? What's got your attention in your life? So on that note, something that's really good, depending on where you are in your life, this is something that I used for a couple of years of my life. I really needed to do this, is that I would think of a problem I was having that was just coming up again and again, and I would think of a solution for that thing. And that way I could go through the day being solution focused. I think it's super, super important to be solution focused. Okay, maybe shit happened, but there is a solution for whatever problem it is. Now, sometimes the solution is tough. It's something we don't want to do. So for instance, if you have friends who are being mean to you, maybe the best thing is to pick new friends. Well, that's scary, right? So a lot of times we'll stick around friends who are not a good influence for us, or maybe are even, negative or damaging to us, because we're afraid to take that step to, either be alone for a little bit or meet new people. So sometimes doing what we know we should takes some effort. It takes some courage. But if you start the morning with an intent to think of a solution, and one thing that's really, really helpful, and this actually kind of leads into the next thought that I had, is to take some time and visualize this problem. See yourself, be in that situation. And then what do you do? What's the solution that you thought of? See yourself going through that scene of, okay, this problem presented itself, and, my boss was a jackass, and what did I do? I did XYZ, and see yourself doing that and making the situation better. Empower yourself in the morning to do something that you feel like you would really like to see change in your life. And so I changed a lot of things in my life using that method, especially with work, a little bit with friends, as I spoke about, sometimes in a living situation. And as you visualize seeing yourself change things, you actually empower yourself to do what you know you should, or at the very least, stand your ground and keep your integrity. Because that's the most important thing is whatever happens in life, if you keep your integrity, you will be happy. And it's that simple. Okay, so something that I recommend, now this is just a personal recommendation, it's going to be the last thing that I share as far as ideas, is to meditate for 10 minutes in the morning. And some thoughts that I had for that. Oh, actually, I used my phone to prop up my computer so it wouldn't overheat. So there's a couple apps that I found recently that are really awesome for starting the day right. The first one is called Calm, just CALM. And that one's really great. They've got nice calming backgrounds. We've got the visuals as well as some really relaxing sounds that you can listen to. And there's a couple of features that are free, which you can set a certain amount of time, whether it's 5, 10, 15, 60 minutes, and you can meditate with this relaxing background noise and view. The other one that I've really liked is called ICAN, just ICAN, and it's kind of like an anxiety self-hypnosis, anxiety reduction self-hypnosis app, and it goes for 30 minutes, but I'll start that at the very beginning of the day, like when I barely wake up and maybe I need another 30 minutes of rest or relaxation, then I'll throw that on, and it's been really fantastic. And he actually teaches you how to do a little bit of self-meditation, which I've done for a lot of years and found to be beneficial. So both of those are really good. It's nice to have help in order to do, happiness stuff, for self-help stuff, or peace stuff, inner peace kind of things. So those are really good things that you can do, those two apps. Another thought that I had is, like, if you have a favorite quote that if you start the day with a favorite quote or one of those 365-day calendars, you can rip off that top page and just take it with you, or snap a photo of your quote or the little calendar thing and make it the background of your phone. You can do that in 2 minutes. It takes no time at all. And yet, every time you look at your phone, you're going to get that positive message. So the last thought that I have is to take your positive intention or your good morning with you throughout the day. So find a way that you can take whatever intention you set, whatever positive message that you set, because it's like you're programming your mind in the morning. Whatever you do in the morning is going to follow you throughout the day. So fill it with something positive, fill it with a powerful intention of what you would like to create throughout that day, and then take that with you throughout the day. So now I wanted to do just a little bit about, what if you wake up in a crappy mood? Because sometimes I wake up and for no obvious reason, I'm just in a crappy mood. And I know lots of people who are like that. And, it's not the funnest thing in the world, but it's not the worst thing in the world either to wake up in a crappy mood. It's just that there's something that needs your attention. And so the first thing is, if you wake up in a bad mood in general, just be that much more concerted in your efforts to start the day right. Because if you start the day on the right foot, that's going to set the tone for your entire day. Okay, so work just that much more at starting the day on the right foot. Okay, the second is to keep a journal. Journaling is super, super powerful for helping you do a lot of thinking through processes of, okay, maybe see if you can get down to where did that mood come from, or that emotion. See if you can name that emotion, write about it, just talk about how you're feeling. And a lot of times thoughts will come up as to where that might have come from. And maybe it was something that happened yesterday. Maybe it was something that happened years ago in your life, and it's just that you haven't dealt with it yet. So deal with it, okay? Go ahead and let that out. And those feelings might not be great, but if you take that choice, make that effort to work through those emotions, perhaps you'll start waking up in a better mood. There are some physical things that can go into waking up in a bad mood, which I'm not a doctor, so I can't speak on those, but that's something that you can absolutely look into. Maybe it's that you're eating too late at night. You know, it can be as simple as you ate the wrong food or too much before you went to bed. And so, you know, look into that aspect of things as well. And then third, remind yourself that you are not your emotions. If you wake up in a bad mood, it does not make you a bad person. If you wake up in a disturbed mood, that doesn't make you a disturbed person. You're not your emotions. They are just feelings that you are experiencing, okay? So remind yourself that it's okay to have negative emotions. It's okay to feel badly. It's okay to not be a morning person. It's totally okay. But make the effort to start the day on the right foot. Don't just use that as an excuse for being mean to people. I'm not a morning person. Okay, well, that's not an excuse to hold on to a crappy mood. Okay, so that's all my thoughts. I actually shared my last thought prematurely, which was to take your good morning with you, take your meditation with you, take your positive thought with you throughout the day. Set reminders, set backgrounds, put little post-it notes somewhere. Let that, you know, whatever post-it you write in the morning, maybe with a quote, take that with you all throughout the day. And that will help you not only start the day right, but keep it right. And just remind you to do your best and to be your best, and let that be enough. So those are all my thoughts. And I want to thank you for joining. I'm going to go ahead and close this session. I'm going to stop recording, and then we can talk if you have any other thoughts or questions. And then I would invite you to be here every Thursday at 3 Pacific time. I'm going to keep on doing these because I just want to share this message with as many people as possible. So hope to see you next time. Bye.